What's up, Facebook? I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Hang on just a second. I'm going to shut this fan off. Okay, we're back. So, yesterday I did a Facebook Live about push-ups. So, I'm going to try to do one of these every day or so. On my own today. I don't have my camera on. They did such a great job yesterday. But got up here at 6. We did our first Zoom group training workout, which was awesome. So that's basically going to be how we're going to roll for training. I'm doing that with my group training clients as well as my one-on-one clients, in addition to doing online programming. I was really excited when I woke up this morning just to get up here and just get into work, and it was a blast. So if you're interested, just shoot me a message. I'll give you the deets on that. We're going to talk about what I call a 90-90 kind of hip sequence. Some people call this position the shin box position. There's other names for it, whatnot. I just call it 90-90 because it makes most sense to me. So essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out how I can arrange myself so I'm not doing any spread eagle craziness on Facebook for y'all. Y'all don't want that. But the 90-90 position is essentially where we're set up in this position right here. So I've got basically both of my knees at 90-degree angles, and I've got one hip into external rotation right here. The other hip's in internal rotation. So essentially what we're doing is, this is our base position, okay? So you can do a lot of things from this position. One easy, simple thing I like to do with myself as well as with people is to do what I call a hip switch or a hip swivel, where you just gently take the legs from side to side, just like that, okay? I don't do any of the, because I'm not trained in it, I dabble a little bit, but I don't do any of the pails and rails and all of that functional range stuff. I do take some principles and apply it, but since I'm not formally trained in that, we're not talking about that kind of stuff. So we're just kind of surveying how it feels to swivel from one side to the other. Okay, for me personally, when I go over here to the right, it feels a lot easier to get in this position. When I go to the left, my left hip doesn't want to externally rotate as much as my right hip does here. So this is external rotation, internal rotation, and vice versa, okay? So you can see my butt cheek wants to pop up off the floor when I go here, and then when I'm here, it's easier to kind of keep things down. Thank y'all for jumping on. Wendy and Bo Peep. So let me just show y'all real fast, aside from the hip switches, which of course, this is a just easy way to kind of grease the groove, kind of get in here and kind of see what's going on, tension-wise and all that stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to basically just assume the position on one side. And then from here, what I like to start off with is just going through a sequence of kind of some stretches in each position. And I'm also going to talk about the breathing as well. So we want to stay tall. You want to lead with your chest. So if your right leg is the one that's externally rotated, you're going to place your left hand on this right foot. Right hand is on the floor over here, staying tall. What I'm thinking about doing is bringing my chest and torso actually over this right thigh. So as I do this, I'm not collapsing down, I'm staying tall, okay? To where I'm feeling a stretch in this lateral part of my thigh and up in the hip. So you can go through this and kind of just stretch and then come back up. I like to kind of use like a wave motion, so I like to stay tall, bring it over the thigh, and then kind of come out of it in a different way than I went into it. Won't get into the nerdy aspects of that right now because we'd be here all day, but that's an easy way to kind of introduce the stretch and then come out of it, to where what we're trying to do when we stretch or do any mobility work or breathing or recovery work is reduce the tension in the body. Okay, same thing goes for like if you do foam rolling or other self-myofascial kind of self-massage type work. You don't want to be tensed up and holding your breath and like creating more stress in the system, so to speak. So the system would be your body. We were trying to like get rid of that, right? So for right now, with us being in a higher state of stress collectively, these kind of things can come in really handy. So when you get down here, we can kind of hang out in this position okay, instead of coming out of it. And I'm thinking about driving this right knee into the ground as well as this left knee. So both knees I'm thinking about driving into the ground as I'm staying tall and feeling that stretch, okay? So that's position one. Position two would be taking myself where I think chest to ceiling, and I'm in line with this internally rotated femur. So this left leg, so from this position here, I'm thinking about driving both knees into the ground still, but more specifically this left one, the one that's internally rotated. So a lot of people have a lack of range of motion in internal rotation of the hip. It's kind of just one of those things. Again, I won't go into details why we could be here all day doing that, but let's just say that we can guess that probably most of y'all out there have an internal rotation deficit, so to speak. So we can just hang out here and do some stretching, trying to keep this torso. And again, you're gonna do the same thing on each side and just kind of survey and see what your differences are from left to right. So that's position two. Position three is going to be, we're going to, instead of coming here like we did on position one, we're going to bring ourselves around this way, okay? And when you reach a point where you can't walk your hands any further, we're gonna drop down to this right forearm, grab the ground with this right hand, and then you're gonna lock this left arm out strong, okay? So what's gonna happen is you're gonna feel a really groovy stretch down this left, like your quads, hip flexors, all this good stuff. This left thigh, but also maybe a little bit of the lateral hip and the torso. So really important, whichever position you're getting into, that you wanna, again, make sure that you can breathe. Check yourself, make sure that that's, all going on. You can use your breathing kind of as a gauge of the intensity. So if you find that you're reaching a position and you're like wanting to hold your breath, then ease out of it and get into a position that lets you breathe comfortably. Okay, that's where you need to be for now. So this is position three right here. So we can sit here and do the stretch. So I'm pushing this knee into the ground, pushing this hand into the ground, and being everything kind of pushed away from the floor. Okay, so you can hang out here and stretch easy. So those are the positions. What I like to do, thank y'all for jumping on. Hey Chip, what's up? So real fast, let me just show y'all and then I'll let y'all get back to what y'all are doing. When we do breathing work in these positions, I like to get into this externally rotated position and do some deep breathing here. So we did this at the end of our workout this morning. You're still gonna lead with your chest, be tall, bring yourself over this thigh. But what's gonna happen is we're gonna bring the hands around, place the palms on the floor, and then if you can, place your forehead on the backs of your hands. And then in this position, you're going to do some deep breathing cycles. So I'm just gonna go through a few deep breaths to show y'all what it feels and sounds like. So the deal is whenever you're doing deep breathing or positional breathing or recovery breathing, whatever you wanna call it, you wanna make sure that you're not rushing through it, okay? So the whole concept is that we're trying to get your body to expand 360 degrees, starting from the belly and then working up through the chest. And then when you exhale, it's doing the reverse or going down this way. So a lot of people, due to stress, faulty breathing mechanics, all kinds of good stuff or bad stuff, breathe shallow or breathe through the chest or through the neck and traps, which, the breathing may sound like something that's, we breathe, we do it all the time, not a big deal, but if you have faulty breathing mechanics, it makes everything else that you do wonky, okay? So that's just kind of the place I'm coming from. So it makes sense to work on it if it's wonky. And then also too, we gotta do deep breathing just to bring down the overall tone and stress level. So with that said, observe as I do a few breaths. So I'm gonna bring myself down here, get comfy. So hopefully you can kind of see and you can hear what's going on when I do that. Hopefully you can see, you wouldn't be able to see how I'm expanding through here. I'm feeling this, my belly press against this thigh, so that's giving me some tactile feedback, which is great, okay? But hopefully you can see maybe some expansion that's going on through my back and then in my upper back especially, like if you could see that rising and falling. So in addition to that, what's important is when you exhale, when doing this kind of breathing work, I like to use a forceful exhale, so it's almost like you're breathing through a straw. So a like pushing the air out, okay? Because again, with faulty breathing mechanics, a lot of people, when we breathe shallow, we're either like not taking in enough air, okay, so that's one issue, or reverse, we're like not expelling enough we're not exchanging our gases properly, so we're not getting all the air out. So there's always this leftover like junk sitting there, just kind of being like, meh, meh, meh. So being able to take nice full breaths in and then get all the air out is training us to better utilize our breathing apparatus, I guess you could say. So I guess that's all I'm gonna share for today with that. Hey Holly, you rock too. All y'all rock. So that's the 90-90 breathing, stretch sequence, whatnot. On Instagram, and I also put it on Facebook a few days ago, I shared the child's pose breathing and then the 90-90 breathing and then a wall reach, okay? So you can do, hey Brandon, what's up? You're funny. I'll show you some gas. But yeah, so I planned on doing a little bit more of this kind of stuff just to kind of sneak it into y'all's everyday lives. But if y'all want to check out on YouTube, I've got a playlist of recovery breathing and resets. Shoot me a message or comment if you've got questions or whatnot. I'm here for you. Y'all have a great day. Make it happen, okay? Make the best of what we got going on right now. Y'all keep your heads up, and we'll check y'all next time. Bye.